conference will now be recorded.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to this regular meeting of the Vader City Council. It is February 23rd, 2023, and the time is 6:04 p.m. Roll call.
Joe Shire.
Here.
Ann McIntosh.
Here.
Joe Daly. Or Jason Daly.
Here.
Randy Hall.
Here.
Mike Parsons.
Here.
Ferguson.
Mike is away today. Pledge of allegiance. Jason, would you do the honors? Sure, thanks.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mayor's report. Planning committee, there's still a vacancy, so keep some spreading the word. We did have one applicant, but unfortunately, they did not live within 3 miles of the city limits, so they were ineligible. So it's unfortunate. But they say they are going to move closer, so some year they'll apply again. Street and traffic signs. So we've gone through and did an audit of all the signs in town, and to repair or replace and add things that are missing. We're looking at about $8,000 work. Also getting rid of all old 4x4s. Metal posts that don't need to get repainted and all that. So we are applying for a $5,000 grant, which is the maximum allowed through loss prevention on our AWC city insurance. So that'll cover most of it if we get it. We're pretty hopeful that we will. Economic Alliance on Housing. So I went to their monthly meeting and I advocated for development prospects within Vader. This is kind of a mixed bag of folks up there, everything from county planning officials to engineers to developers and bank lenders and all kinds of stuff that go to this meeting, and they kind of give ideas on how the county should grow. And so I went to that meeting. I had heard through the grapevine that they were kind of living on old information as far of how Vader was kind of back in many years ago, and so I opened their eyes to how great we are down here and how ready we are for development. Southwest Lewis County Chamber of Commerce. I also went to that meeting again. It was in Toledo this month, and we were. I was talking with one of the county officials about commercial prospects in Vader. So that's good too. And the Vader industrial area. So as you know, the Vader industrial zone is completely owned by Brandon Milton of his company. And he has quite a bit of vacant land down there still, as well as his warehouse facility that is currently occupied, but he's leasing it out to someone running his business for him. So I've been working with the Economic Alliance of Lewis County to try to assist him in finding either a new tenant that offers more employment options, or also new development there on the property. So, anything that happens down there is a benefit to the city, and so we're trying to help him out as much as possible. And the property purchase, we're still waiting on the sellers to provide some more paperwork related to the LLC that is holding the property currently. So, still working on that. Any members, council members have reports?
Yes, I do. On the signs, are you going to put a sign up by the park, caution children playing?
We could. That wasn't on the list, but we can add that to the list.
Because people go through their night and nothing. On your suggestion.
I know there's a children playing sign on 6th, kind of right across from your place.
Where? I don't remember seeing that.
There's one on, you're driving towards the church on 6th, you're on the right, there's something on the left right there.
I'll have to go check it out.
But that's on the approach from 6, not on the approach from A.
Okay, well, we still need one by the park, safety. And I've been getting complaints that the lighting is not enough. The ambience you went for sucks. You're putting the children in danger. Because most of them wear dark clothing, and even though some of the people have lights on their cars, sometimes one of these days it's gonna be too late, and they're gonna hit one of them little fellas. They can't see. The lighting needs to be brighter. And more light, in fact.
Yeah.
Because
Well,
it's
the park
not-
is, technically, the park is closed at dusk.
Mhm.
And so, there should be ample lighting. It's supposed to be just for security purposes.
Walking to the bus stops is what I'm apologizing.
Okay.
Walking to the bus stops. And these cars come down 6th Street, 90 to nothing.
If there
Some
are
days.
places where people want more city street lighting, let City Hall know. And all we need to do is send an email to PUD, and they'll come out and they'll put a new light up.
Okay, well then that's what they.
And then they
they're
start charging the
asking-
city, but it's $4 a month or something. It's not very much.
Well, that's what they're asking. Wherever the kids have to walk to bus stops, they need more lighting.
Well, let people know, let those folks know that just, if there's a particular corner that they need, that's dark right now, so just let City Hall know. And we'll get them put in.
Okay.
I don't know where all the bus stops are.
Right.
Yeah, it's just a request and we can get it done.
And another thing, that little picture y'all put up online in complaint to what I was saying, y'all making it seem like it's gonna be all the way to Miss Judy's building, the way the picture is. And that's not right. That's not lying, because it's not gonna be that wide. The
That-
picture online has it butted up against her building.
That picture is online?
Somebody put a picture online,
Oh, okay.
and according to it, the park is the new park will be butted right next to her building.
Yeah, that picture is from 2003. The city.
And it's a
got in grant.
rendering. And it's a rendering. It's by not any means to scale, or it's just an idea of what they want in the city.
So that's
And the
a,
scale is gonna is misleading people. They're thinking that we're gonna be getting this gigantic park, but nothing.
No, what's misleading is telling people that we are getting a park right next to another park. That's what's
You are getting
misleading.
a park next to the other park. There's one right
But it's
there on
not going to be a park.
the highway with a fountain. How are we gonna pay for the fountain? How are we gonna pay for all this?
so that photo was a 2003 drawing
Rendering.
that the then Vader Vision Committee or something like that, it says it on there, had put together. And obviously, if you look at that photo, there's a variety of facilities on there that are on private property that the city has no control over.
Right,
And so it was just kind of a dream on what Vader could look like.
right.
And so part of that dream on that particular corner property, it does show the park going, the city portion of the park going all the way up against Judy Costello's
Right.
building. However, that can't be the case because the park parcel that's for sale is not, doesn't go all the way to the building.
Not many people
And
are
so-
gonna be reading that. They're just gonna see that picture and think, oh, if all Miss Judy's property up, so we're gonna have a nice big old park.
Well, it's not that way. That's not what
But
we're
that's
buying.
not how it looks. It always gotta be on how things look, because people are getting
Well,
wrong.
I think that people are smarter than that, and they can see that it's a rendering and an idea. And
It is good to give people an idea of what things could look like if enough effort went into it. And that is
And
one
that didn't
example.
look like enough effort went into it to show specifically what your dream is. So when do we become,
Yeah. it
Real
wasn't-
estate
It
moguls.
wasn't meant to be a specific drawing anyway, it's just an idea. Again, it's just an idea.
There's
tell
gonna-
that to them. Put
there's-
that on there, because that's not on there on the site. Because when I looked at it, and some of my friends were looking at it going, what is this? It's not because they're not smart, it's because what they're seeing.
The reason why I included that photo in the The reason why we include that photo in the presentation to council was to show that there has been a city vision for there to be city presence downtown for decades. And that by us
And
taking
based,
this action, it's just
also based
to-
off of, sorry to interrupt, Joe, but also based off of that photo, the planning committee has gone off of that photo also to plan things to be able to do those type of things downtown.
Yeah, that's true. When the A Street Historic District was established, that photo was also used as one of the bases for doing that. The efforts of the people that came before us, their efforts were used as basis for doing that. And as far as what will be in the park, once again, that photo is just something that was drawn back then. Fountains, ponds, that is not necessarily what's going to happen there. Plan at all, right? You need to acquire it first, then we can start working on exactly what we want to do.
Yeah,
There
the
are
people don't want us to acquire, they want us to use that money to help people out and not acquire another piece of property for another park, not so many parks. City has presence on the main street.
There's going to come a time, and it could happen overnight really, where the downtown area becomes full, right? Well, the city's been very lucky for many years, in a way lucky, that those grassy areas existed for different festivals and gatherings and whatnot. And it's been great that the owners of those have let the city committees use those. They are not going to be empty forever. And when that happens, there's not going to be anything along the highway that the city owns that's right in the middle. And to have a small piece of property where we could put up, Vader Mayday signs,
We're having
Christmas display.
the community center right down the street too, so how can you say that? We're a presence.
It's never a bad idea to acquire a little bit of property for future use. It's hard to imagine what's going to happen in the future.
And
that money is earmarked to be used in
Not
parks.
listening to what they want.
Well, and this is, Jason was just alluding to, this is ARPA money that we got for COVID relief funds. It can only be used for water, sewer, broadband, other infrastructure projects like that. Also, some community development related things like parks are used. The idea behind that was during COVID, everyone was locked up, so you want to encourage people to get out and get healthy again. So the money can be used towards parks. So you can't use it. You can't use it for a lot of things, but you can use it to acquire property for park development. So.
I still think there's different ways to use it from buying property that we don't need.
And we're also getting it for a steal because the owners of it want.
27,000 is a steal.
That's
for that little bit of cemetery plot.
It's probably on the market. If you were to sell it on the market, you'd probably sell it for $80,000 or $90,000. We're getting it for 27. Any other council reports?
Well, I'd just like to let everybody know that I'm working feverishly on what used to be J&G's grocery to turn it into something different in Vader, and turn it into a bar and a little pizza place for the town. It's gonna be pretty cool, but it's taken longer than I anticipated. So
Looking forward to it.
it is coming.
Can I get a margarita there?
Yeah,
All right.
it's taking longer than expected, of course, but I think I already said that. But fingers crossed.
All right. Any other members of the council? All right. Agenda approval. I do not have any changes.
I'd like to make a motion that we approve the city council meeting minutes for 2/23/2023.
We have a motion by Mr. Daly to approve the agenda as written. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Hall. Discussion? All those in favor, say aye.
Hi.
Minutes approval.
I'll make a motion that we approve the city council meeting minutes for 2/9/2023.
We have a motion by Mr. Daly to approve the minutes from February 29th, 2023. We have a second.
Second.
Seconded by Mr. Hall. Any discussion? You're a little delayed tonight, Mike, so we'll have to
That's fine.
bear with that. Just so you know. Any other discussion? All those in favor of approving the city council minutes, say aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carries. I noticed that when I was doing the audio test meeting at the beginning of the meeting to make sure we sounded okay. When I had my phone up to my ear, I was many seconds
I
delayed.
counted, that was 10 seconds.
Yeah, many seconds delayed. So it's not.
Let's see delayed.
Voucher approval.
Are these numbers correct? Okay, I make a motion that we approve the vouchers for January amended 2023 for $70,402.67. The end of February 2023, $32,642.96, for a total February of $84,020.91.
We have a motion by Mr. Daly to approve the vouchers as stated. Do we have a second?
Second.
You cheated there, didn't you, Mike? Seconded by Mr. Parsons. Any other discussion?
Aye.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
I no longer believe in 10-second delay.
He's trying to time me. I know what he's doing. He's pacing me. Any opposed? Motion carries. Special reports, Vader Planning Committee. I know the Planning Committee this last week, they discussed a variety of upcoming issues that they're going to be working on. The new planners were online to give them a kind of a summary of the different things coming up regarding the update, the comp plan update, the annexation, the critical area ordinance updates and stuff like that. So we're going to have a lot of paperwork here pretty soon. Vader Parks Board, should I give a summary or would you like to give a summary? All right.
That's what I was trying to load up here too. So we had our last meeting last week, and if this loads up, here we go. So right now we have some tentative community recycling events planned. For our first paper shredding event is going to be this Saturday, February 25th from 10 to 1 o'clock, and it's going to be over in front of the city shop. So residents, anyone actually in the entire county, they can come down, bring like about 3 bags or 3 boxes, large boxes of any kind of sensitive document that you would like to have that may have some personal information and stuff. You can go and get it torn, or not torn. You can go and drop it off and they'll shred it for you. Again, that's this Saturday from 10 to 1. On Wednesday, March 8th, from 10 to 2, we are going to drop happening over off of the Winlock Vader Road drop, and that's also going to be from 10 to 2. And I believe we're allowing, it's obviously recycled, refrigerated appliances this time as well, but I haven't heard confirmation on if they're going to let us have folks drop off and leave it in a certain area, or if we're going to be giving them a voucher to be able to take it for free to the recycle center up in Chehalis. The recycling event has not been confirmed for us yet, which would have been Saturday, April 16th, because the county needs to finish they're working on agreement with Ecology, so there's something with them there. Our chipping event, we are going to have our Chips for Trails event Saturday, April 22nd from 10 to 3 p.m. Volunteers are needed, and if they can show up as early as 9 o'clock, and we just confirmed last night at the Lions Club meeting that they are going to supply a lunch. So we need to get a hold of, you need to get a hold of Mo. Information is on one of the flyers that I had submitted into City Hall for her contact, and flyers will be going out for that here soon too, and we'll also have the announcement board updated. And we have some of the stuff on the announcement board on the shop as well. And August 12th, we are going to have our second paper shredding event, and it will actually be at the daily storage unit, and that will be from 10 to 1 as well. And it's pretty much it right now. Just get ready for all the different community.
Is there any news on the cardboard containers?
The tire recycling event.
Carport, the pavilion.
Like a recycling container,
Oh,
like we used to have down at the other store.
so for the tire recycling event, is that what you're talking about? So right now the county hasn't, all of these are being funded through a grant through the county, and the county doesn't have a contract with Ecology to be able to do the tire recycling event yet. As soon as they do, then we might have one in April. So, and chances are the county will want us to use the Windlock drop area again. But yeah, as soon as we hear back from them, then that'll get announced and sent out too.
And Mike, I think you're referring to having like a permanent cardboard recycling area in town.
Yeah, we were talking about at the school.
Yeah, I don't have an answer for that yet.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Yeah. Are there any other questions? No? Okay. I think that's it.
All right. Moving on to the only item of city business, agenda bill, the F Street rededication. Council discussed the vacant F Street section that's south of 10th and give staff direction on how to proceed. So at the last meeting, I kind of gave a rundown on some of the complaints we've had. We had a variety of citizens here that live on F that were in support of this. I reached out to the engineer as well as the attorney. Hopefully you've got the chance to look over that agenda bill that discusses at length all of the steps needed for the city to go through and the different considerations as well. For instance, there's a lot of private sewer lines that are underneath F Street right now. And more than likely, the city would not want to acquire private lines into our system. And so part of the agreements with the property owners would be that they'd have to, that we would make an easement so that they could keep their lines there, but they would be documented that they would have to maintain them. Yeah.
Doesn't someone's property at the end get cut in half by that road, by F Street? So wouldn't their property be on both sides?
It should not, no, because I don't think there's anyone that crosses that private drive.
Okay.
I've never heard anything. Mike?
I think you're referring to Heather's property at the end where she put the fence up.
Yeah, Heather's property. Mm-hmm.
But her property wouldn't be cut in half by a new road.
No, well, it would just take a big
'Cause there's a
chunk
new
out of it.
home. Right. Yeah, because there's a new home. This map doesn't really show it very well, but there is a new home that to the left of where F Street is now. The last parcel, corner of F and
Right. Yeah.
So yeah, so it goes on to discuss the variety of issues to be considered. You know, part of, you know, and it's good that if we're going to do it, we're going to do it in a thoughtful and proper manner. One of the reasons why there are so many issues back there is back in the 35 years ago or whenever it was they did this, once the city vacated it, they just vacated it, and then it was just kind of a wild west of situations back there with regard to who's going to take care of the street, who's going to take care of the sewer lines. And so There's people's sewer lines crossing everyone else's property back there. There was no regulation, no homeowners association to take care of any of that. So anyway, so if everyone is still okay with this process, get a motion on that, and then we'll get going.
Let's go.
One of the things in the engineering perspective, I don't know, hopefully you've read that, is that more than likely we would not want to use Vader's normal standard for a 60-foot right-of-way through there. We probably want to use a 40-foot right-of-way. In our design standards, a 40-foot right-of-way does not exist, and so part of this process would be to create a standard, which isn't going to be a big deal. That way we could have a smaller right-of-way through there and not quite take so much of people's property away from them.
Right.
How about a cost cap on that,
Yeah,
the amount of money?
we could talk about that. I'm expecting attorney's fees, 1,500 to 2,000, engineering probably about the same, and then the survey. So it's probably going to cost the city around 6,000 or so to do this. But I think the residents want it, and it'll be good for the city as well.
Now that's F Street.
That's great.
We're not talking about this thing here.
We're not talking about that
Okay.
thing. What is that map?
Oh,
That's what we got.
it's a map I got from somebody in the park board.
Can we
You got a park map?
recover that cost? Can we recover that cost through that development down there?
I said, I'm gonna go look like
I'm not sure how we would recover F Street costs, Bob. The development that's happening down at the end of E Street, they're gonna do a whole bunch of street work for us, including paving work. So E Street's gonna be in pretty good shape when they're done with it. F, it might be on the city to just maintain that with gravel until at some point the city can afford to pave it along with other streets.
And are they also gonna do D Street? That far in D Street?
They'll have to do improvements to D Street as
This
well.
wide.
That for, right?
That down there is.
Well, yeah, so it's a little off topic, but any of the road work that these developers are gonna do on D and E are gonna have to meet our street standards for width
And we're gonna go 40 feet on all of that.
yeah, and so I think what they're doing on those is they're doing what's called a half street improvement. Since their development is on one side of the road and not on both sides of the road, you don't require them to do both sides of the road. You only do the side of the road that they're on. So they'll end up getting like a 20. Which is wider than what's there already.
Okay.
And so even though it's quote unquote a half street, it's,
Right.
if you look around Vader, a half street's, a half real street is quite a bit.
Right.
So
Do they provide their own potholes or will we provide those?
those are on us.
Okay.
What about
Free of
G
charge
Street?
time.
And cats, we don't have.
Are you talking about G Street between 8th and 9th, Bob?
Yeah,
I know what he's talking about. Yes, between 8th and 9th.
Yeah, again, that's a little bit of a different situation over there. That's been owned by one person for a number of years.
What, you mean the east side of that, or just the street itself?
The entire strip of G Street is owned by a person. So G Street was either vacated or never created, way back when, and it was bought up by a person, and they own it. So I've talked to one of the people.
do they pay road tax or, for
In
a maintained
Really
road
pushing
in their
for
taxes? Thanks.
The people that live on the private street of G Street,
They'll do before that.
Yes.
yeah, there's no road taxes.
Our property taxes don't go into any kind of a road.
It
Thank you.
does, yeah. So they pay property taxes just like everybody else, but the city can't use property tax money on a private driveway, which is what G Street is. Any other discussion on this? Can I get a motion to proceed?
I can make a motion to proceed with the F Street, what was it called?
Rededication.
Rededication.
We have a motion by Ms. McIntosh to proceed with the F Street rededication process. Do we have a second? Seconded by Mr. Hall. Discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carries. Into city business. Members of the public, any members of the public have any comment?
Yeah, I'd like to tell you all I appreciate y'all being down there. Thanks a lot.
Thanks, Bob.
Hey, Bob.
I appreciate you being online and listening. Elected
Every
official?
time.
Yeah, every time.
When I can,
Mhm.
it's not
Elected
that
official.
well of a audio. I think that I like to see that improve because this is how I'm going to listen to all the meetings, the park and the planning. So thanks a lot.
Hopefully it sounds okay tonight. Any elected officials have anything to say? No? Meeting is adjourned at 6:36 p.m. Thanks.